I'm Amy Parker.
And I'm Abby, Lucienne.
And we're here to wish you happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
And to carve some pumpkins and talk scary stuff.
This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name.
Okay, so the first thing we have to do is carve and gut our pumpkins.
There you go. Yeah,
and I
have
have
a knife.
the knife right here.
I knew she was ruthless, but this is ridiculous.
All right, well, since this one's only plastic, I suppose I'll use the pumpkin cutting tools.
Yeah, this is going to take a while.
And for my pumpkin, I printed out this nice picture of Edgar Allan Poe, who was born in my hometown of Baltimore, and who's one of my idols, and I'm going to carve him into my pumpkin.
Oh, that's a cool idea. And mine is like sort of shoot from the hip, very last minute. I'm going to try to make a haunted house like free range, so we'll see what happens.
Oh yeah, you got some cool stuff over there. Okay, so shall we carve?
I think we should dig in.
All right, let's go.
Lots of guts.
So here we are gutting our pumpkins, and
Lucienne has an issue with the like squishiness.
I really
the squishy
do.
factor. And as we all know, I don't have any problem with like the squishy factor.
Yeah, I almost went to graduate school. Oh yeah, I'm getting the digger. I'm not doing this barehanded.
Yeah,
I almost went to graduate school
Ready?
for forensic anthropology.
Oh, you have one?
Oh yeah, mine's lame.
This one's a little better.
Thank you. So I'd have been bones, and on the one hand, that would have been good because in theory, I would have been getting the remains fully skeletonized. But in practice, that's not the way it goes. You often get the remains what's called in situ, which means, you know, still in their situation, still in their setting. And that means maggots and creepy crawlies and wet stuff and adipose tissue and whatever has not completely been eaten or wasted away.
Ew.
So fun stuff. And if the bones are not in a situation where the forensic anthropologist can do their job, in other words, they're not as fully skeletonized as they need, you need to boil the rest of the flesh off.
Ew.
So, yeah, I would not have been good at that. I wouldn't. I'm a much better agent
I'm thinking
than
that,
author.
yeah, that would not work for me either.
Yeah. So, Amy, we talked about maybe talking about some of our haunting moments and how they might have tied into our writing. So, do you want to talk about that? Or do you want to finish carving and get the goopy stuff out of the way and then talk about the hauntings?
Well, considering that my goop is all gone, basically.
She's a faster decooper than I am.
I could talk about it. I guess for me, I lived in a haunted house, so that for me is a large inspiration for writing. It was pretty freaky in there. And I lived there when I was about, I guess I was 9 or 10 maybe, and the view from my room was a graveyard across the street. The house was about 100 years old and really creepy. Like the first day I walked in there, I had the creeps, but at the same time it was really cool because they had the secret passageway from the pantry downstairs that would lead upstairs. And my brother and I thought that was the most awesome thing. And they had an old horse-drawn carriage in the stable in the back of the house. It was a farmhouse. And so my parents were renting it. I thought it was super cool. There was cows in the field, that whole thing. And that carriage was like the velvet lined seats, very cool. But that room where it was at was really creepy. There was a horse chute where they used to put the feed down, and it was really dark, and I would always feel like something was staring at me from that chute, like it was going to come out and get me. And I was really young. My brother would get the same feeling, so we would kind of play in there but stare at that horse chute the whole time and bounce around in the carriage, and then after a while we'd just get too creeped out and have to go home. But we used to hear footsteps on the stairs. We would hear stuff at night, and there was an attic door by my bed too, my bedroom, right outside the front door, and it would shake on its hinges even when it wasn't windy out. And I can remember going by in the middle of the day, and it was shaking, and it had an iron latch that actually like came down that held it into place, and the latch flew open and the door swung open in the middle of the day. And I can remember not even screaming, just looking up the attic stairs like, uh-oh. And running into my closet and just hiding my face in my hands thinking, I'll be cool if I don't see anything. As long as I don't see anything, I can live here and it'll be all right.
So basically you lived in the poltergeist house.
I did live in the poltergeist house.
Bio.
Amityville. I mean, it didn't say get out, but it might as well have, and we should have listened. But we didn't. But what about you?
Well, my haunting moment came when I was researching Fantabulous. Well, first of all, I have to tell you, I grew up sure that Dracula was hiding behind the shower curtain. Frankenstein was waiting to chase me down the hall. There were aliens under my bedroom grabbed my feet, and there was a hand in the toilet. So if I had to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, which on pain of death, I mean, I had to be desperate. I would leap from my bed so the aliens couldn't grab me. I'd run down the halls of Frankenstein, because we all know how speedy Frankenstein is. So Frankenstein couldn't catch
Lurching
me.
after you.
I would, if the shower curtain was closed, I would steal myself and rip it open and peek in and make sure that Dracula was not actually there. And I would always peek in the toilet for the hand. And it never did grab me, but only because I checked. I'm sure that the day that I forgot to check,
That would be the day.
that would have been the day. And so anyway, my moment came. I was researching Fantabulous, and I went to Salem, Massachusetts, the most haunted town in America, and it really, really is. And I went on one of the ghost tours because I wanted to get some research for the book.
Cool.
And the woman is talking about this house where evil Sheriff Corwin's remains had been stolen. One of the guys that he accused of witchcraft, when you got accused, and once you entered a plea, the government could take all your belongings, could confiscate them. And so all this guy's belongings had been confiscated, and when he came back, when the witch trials ended, he didn't get his money back. He didn't get his belongings back. So when Corwin died, he stole his skeleton and buried him in his house for a while to try and extort his money back from Corwin's family.
Oh, no way.
And so
That's
she's
a cool
talking about this and how the ghost has been known to strangle people and to put his arm around, people. And it was this eerie, creepy story. And she's pointing at the house, and I'm feeling something behind me. And I keep looking behind me, and there's this window, but it's blacked out. There's nothing in the window, but I know there's something there. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying not to panic, and I'm trying not to panic. And finally, I just had to move and put my back to a brick wall where I couldn't feel anything staring at me. And it was the creepiest moment of my life. So we've been laboring at this for a while. And as you can see, Amy's got this gorgeous, lovely, really well done pumpkin. And I've got this mess.
But you know what? This is indicative of her overachievedness, because she had like a huge Edgar Allan Poe thing to do, which was going to take like 5 hours. And I'm like, let's just chuck some spiders and mice on it and call it a day, and got like a couple of windows. So it just shows like the difference in our styles, which is really funny because you're more seat of your pants when you write, and I am much more like that when I write, which is crazy.
Well, it has to give somewhere, I guess is
it
what
does.
it is. Yeah. So y'all use your imaginations. My pumpkin is going to look like this in 5 hours when I'm done, in theory.
Maybe by tomorrow, if she's lucky and has a sharper knife.
Maybe. So happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.